Emotions like anger, fear, sadness, boredom are just experiences of the human mind. And anything that comes and goes is not us. It does not define who we are and it's not a part of our identity. Yet we have this current epidemic, it seems, of people over associating with these types of emotions, labeling themselves with certain things of anxiety, of depression, of being somebody who's easily distracted, or whatever you want to call it. And then we live up to these experiences and labels that we place on ourselves. But we must understand, we are the sky, not the weather. Just because there's a storm one day in the sky doesn't mean that the sky is permanently labeled by that storm. Just because one day the sky is clear, beautiful, and sunny doesn't mean it's always going to be that way. We don't need to feel this need to live up perfectly to always be one type. But we also don't need to label ourselves and then constantly live up to it. When we label ourselves with these emotions like anger, fear, boredom, we are going to live up to it simply because we're placing so much of our focus on it. Anytime you're angry and you're around other people, you're waiting for the next thing to be angry about. You don't want them to start laughing and start having a good time because you feel angry. That would then make you uncomfortable. That doesn't live up to the feeling that you want to feel. Even if you don't like being an angry person, even if you don't like worrying, like being sad, like being afraid, we find reasons to constantly live up to it, to experience more of that emotion when we label ourselves with it, when we identify with it. One of the key ways to begin allowing these emotions to pass and identifying with it is detachment, is creating this separation. It's not I am angry, it's I am experiencing anger. Again, you are the sky, not the weather. It is an experience, it's not who you are, it does not define you. Yet so many of us define ourselves with these things. It's not always something we consciously feel. It's sometimes something that's deep rooted inside of you. Experiences that have occurred, things people have told you that you then took on and believed. Feelings of that you're an introvert, that you're a naturally anxious person, that you worry. Things that you do not always want to be. But deep down, you've labeled yourself, or other people have labeled you, and we believe it to be true. It's only true in our ability to believe it. And so as we begin to understand that this is simply just an experience, that these emotions pass, we can begin to let them pass, begin to allow them to leave so that we can welcome in the new emotions, the ones we want to feel, the ones that make us feel good. Because think about it, you're not an angry person, you're not a lazy person, you're not a stupid person, because there's moments in your life to where you've experienced the exact opposite. Moments of joy, moments of happiness, small moments that have changed the way you looked at yourself for just that brief moment. But oftentimes we just fall back into the negative. We have this negativity bias that we constantly want to live up to. This self-fulfilling prophecy of whatever it is we've labeled ourselves with, and then we want to magnify it. We take this magnifying glass over whatever emotion we've picked for the day, and then try and find more evidence. Because that's what we do. We look towards the past, we look towards the future. We look wherever we can to find reasons to make it larger. Reasons that we can become more identified with it. Oh, I woke up and something annoyed me. I got a text I didn't like. Okay, well now that I'm angry, I'm going to be angry to other people. I'm going to find reasons that my morning didn't go great. My coffee wasn't as good as it could be. Breakfast wasn't great. The drive to work, there was traffic. Now I'm in the office and now everybody else is laughing and it's annoying me because I want to be angry. And we find these reasons to magnify it. But if you went through that exact same experience, that exact same day, but you woke up and you chose happiness, you chose the new experience, and you allowed the anger to pass. That text got sent to you, you accepted it, and you released it. You didn't identify with it. And so when we do that, we then can choose the new experience. We can choose the new emotion we want to feel and magnify that one. Let's place a magnifying glass over happiness, over joy, over the ones that we do want to feel. All right, well, now that I woke up, I'm just grateful that I have coffee this morning. I'm grateful I have breakfast on my plate, food for me to eat. Some mornings I don't get to eat breakfast, so I'm glad I have this time right now. There was traffic on my way to work. I'm glad I have more time to sit with myself, to listen to that song I wanted to listen more into that podcast. Now I'm into work, people are happy. I'm so grateful that they're happy, that they're having a great day, and we can magnify the experience based off where we're placing our focus. But if we want to focus on the negative, we want to magnify the experiences that are not positive, that do not serve us, we will continue to experience them more. That is how they magnify. And so we need to find ways to move past, find ways to redirect ourselves onto the new emotions that we want to feel and let the old ones pass. How do we let these old emotions pass? Because I'm sure you felt it. Sometimes it's just spiral. You feel like you get sucked into it. You feel like there's sometimes no way out of it. And even when you don't want to, subconsciously you feel like you just keep finding reasons. You lay down at night and you just can't find a way to stop it. Well, let's go into it. We talked about creating this distance. When there's no distance between you and the emotion, you lose who you are. You lose your ability to have control. We must understand we are not the mind, we are the observer. When your mind's quiet, when your thoughts are going, who's the person that's actually viewing them? Your consciousness. There's a place inside of you to where you're simply just viewing. That is the real you. That is who you are. You are the observer. You can pass judgment on your thoughts. You are not your thoughts. Just because you think something does not mean that is who you are. That is a thought that you then observe and pass judgment on and then make a decision based off. But oftentimes we get so lost in our mind, in the thinking mind. We, instead of understanding that it is not who we are, we believe it to be who we are. Those thoughts that we have, we then identify with them and then we move with them. But the more we work to create that distance between the heart and mind. It's distance, I wouldn't even say between the heart and mind. I'd say it's distance between identifying with the thoughts in our mind and then acting on them immediately. It gives ourselves the ability to pass judgment, view it, and then make a conscious decision of whether we want to accept it or release it or let it go or pass by it, because we have that ability. If you've never meditated before, it's such a beautiful experience because you are sitting there just observing the mind. Sometimes you get lost in it. Sometimes the thoughts take over and you don't even realize that it's been 10 minutes because you were thinking the entire time, but that's okay. The more we do this, the more we create the strength of the neural pathway that allows us to just view the thoughts, just view the experience and distance ourselves from it instead of constantly identifying it with it. And the more we're able to do that, the more we gain mindfulness, the more we gain awareness of the thoughts that we're having, awareness of where they're coming from, awareness of the things we are identifying with. The more we can do this and the more we can see which experiences then fuel certain emotions in the ways that we magnify the ones we don't want to feel, we then can work around them. We then can create day-to-day, I would say, habits and tasks that then allow us to move past these emotions instead of getting sucked into them. I would notice on the days that I was lazy, the days I would get frustrated, the days that didn't feel smooth were the days that I was so sucked into my phone. I was so sucked into social media. I would spend so much time on there in the morning that it would then diminish the quality of my day. But the more present I was, the more aware I was, the more I did the things I enjoyed doing and was productive, the more I enjoyed my day. But I only was able to gain that level of awareness through understanding the experience of my thoughts. I wasn't identifying with them. I was understanding that they were experience. They would come and go. They would pass on their own. But also, do I have the power and the control over my reality to choose the actions that I take that then fuel certain emotions? I do. And so I'm going to take them. And so creating that distance is so important because, again, if we over-identify with certain emotions, of course we're going to continuously magnify them because we're looking for more experience. And then the more we do this, like I mentioned, we create different tasks and habits throughout the day that then fuel the emotions that we want to feel and remove the ones we don't want to feel. The more awareness you gain, the more mindfulness you have, you're able to make these conscious decisions. You're able to plan out your day and then take action on them because you're aware of it. But when you're lost, when you feel trapped, when you feel like you don't have control, it's very difficult to do these things. The emotions feel like they take over you, and then you submit to them. But the more we're able to follow the process, and I love explaining this process, of accepting these are just an experience. They're not who we are. We're just experiencing this emotion. It'll come and go like everything else. How can we be grateful for this? That's step number 2, accept gratitude. How can I be thankful for this moment? How can it play to the quality of my life? So many people constantly want to label the negative emotion as a negative experience. But what if you had to feel this negative way so that you could make a shift that's then going to make a positive change in your life? You'd be grateful for it. You'd find a reason to be okay with it. But the more we look back on the past and the more we look at right now and find reasons that we're not grateful, we're going to feel the negative emotions. So gratitude, how can we be grateful for the emotion that we're feeling right now and then use that to change your energy, change your vibration to something more positive? And third is just allow it to pass. Like we mentioned, these things are not you. They come and go. Anything that comes and goes is not you. And so we allow it to pass. We let it go when it needs to go, and we simply just flow with it. And so the more that we follow this, the more that we allow it to move and allow it to pass by us without identifying it and create that distance, the more we can let these emotions pass. Because remember, you are the sky. You are not the weather. Don't let yourself be labeled by a single negative experience, a single negative emotion. You don't need to live up to it. You can change who you are, change the person you want to be. But it all starts with getting clear on who that person is, and then following the process of creating distance between the negative and moving into the positive, moving into the gratitude, moving into the love, and it's going to serve you your entire life. So, thank you so much for watching. If you did enjoy, it really means a lot if you would subscribe. I hope you did enjoy this today. I also do have a free community down below if you want to join in my description to where you can have more structured lessons like this ones. I really do appreciate you watching today, and I hope to see you in the next one. God bless everybody.